Now we're live.
Now it's working. Okay, good. That makes me feel better. Welcome to another grand edition of Husky Huddle. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. And with me, as always, my counterpart, my Robin to my Batman, Coach Schumann. Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? I'm nobody's Robin.
I know you're nobody's Robin. No, you're not. Only to me. Only to me. So we actually have some Husky news that's been going on.
Okay, you could talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it because you're gonna fall asleep. So
I have after you talk about it, I'll tell you a thing that I think may cure my issue.
So they got the lineman from Maryland, and then they were also active. They signed a linebacker, Sion Moa from Utah State.
Oh,
so he looks to be of Polynesian descent. He redshirted his first season in 2021. He played 10 games in 2022. And then he really didn't do much after that. He had 4 tackles in 2023, 10 in 2024. The Utah State was a team in transition, I believe. They had a couple coaching changes. So that obviously worked against him. And he got his 4-year degree. So this would be his 5th year. And then they also got, which is I think is a really smart move. They got a wide receiver, Taya Chikaru Bowman. I can't say that name. Chaya, you're smarter than me. Take a look at it. CHIAOKHIAO Bowman.
okay.
Chayakaru Bowman. He is, because I knew it. God damn it. They did lose Josiah Gathings. Josiah Gathings was the receiver I liked. And he wasn't on the roster, but they never made an announcement about him leaving.
Okay.
So this kid began his career at Dream U, which is Independence Community College, before transferring to Florida, where he spent 2 years primarily contributing on special teams. In 2022, he had 7 catches for 138 yards. Wow, that's a lot of yards per catch. The following year, 2023, he only appeared in 2 games, and then he redshirted and then entered the transfer portal. He went to Rice, which they played against us. In a 17-10 loss, he caught 3 passes for 10 yards. And now he is coming to Connecticut. He spent a year at St. Thomas More in Oakdale for a prep year after 4 years at Armstrong High School in Minnesota. He picked up offers from USF, UMass, and received offers from Illinois, Ole Miss, and Nebraska before ultimately picking Florida. This is after junior college. He was a 3-star recruit out of high school, but I think academically he didn't qualify, so he ended up going to JUCO. He joins a Husky wide receiver room that has obviously Skylar Bell, Shamar Porter, who had a good spring. Romello Murphy is good. Chris Parker had a very good spring, and he's got 2 years of eligibility, which is good. I typically don't like when they sign the guys who have, just the one, they take a flyer on them for a year.
Right.
Which they're doing with this linebacker, Sion Moa. But I do know that Utah State was in flux Um, I believe there was a scandal, and the coach got fired 2 years ago because he was an alum, and I thought he was an alum, and he was happy to be back. I'm either getting Utah or Utah State screwed up, but that's really good to see. There, I mean, Mora had said that they were looking to add 6 to 7 players in the portal.
Okay.
They're now at 3, and it is not May yet, so there's still a lot of room for improvement. I don't know, like, if they're not going to take a quarterback, which I doubt they will. I think they're pretty set at receiver. You can always use another lineman. Defensively, they should be solid again. I mean, unless someone big comes open, and depending on the finances, I don't know. I mean, maybe they take another linebacker because they play that 3-3-5 or secondary. I know their camp is coming up because Jamal Lundy's called me nonstop about 3 kids that he's trying to get looked at. Man, that wide receiver that just angers me. That wide receiver, I showed him to you a while ago. He's picking up offers everywhere, and he wanted UConn. And Kashif had said that they're not taking younger kids. They're not taking freshmen. And that's the same problem. I had talked to Julius when we did his show, the Trench Mob show.
Right.
Like when I watch his film, it's unbelievable, the kids that he has, but he runs into the same problem. Several kids do have multiple offers, but there's some kids on there that play at lower levels that don't have offers that I believe absolutely should. And it's just surprising to me that less and less and less and less are getting offers, because of the transfer portal. So it really is a double-edged sword, because these kids are going to have to play at a lower level or JUCO or prep and hope to go after that. Even someone like Lenny's son. Lenny's son 5 years ago probably would have been offered. But because of how the transfer portal is now, and they use so many spots on them, it makes it very, very difficult and tricky to get offered.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, that's the hardest thing is that.
Well, that's why I would wonder if you were putting your agent hat on for a minute.
Okay.
Would you get involved and represent high school kids? Because there's obviously money to be made, and there's more money to be made on high school or college kids than some of the lower round NFL kids.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think it's something that you would have pursued? Or do you think because there's no real parameters?
If I was still an agent?
Yeah.
If I was still an agent, probably, yeah. You probably would have to be honest.
Because there's no parameters behind it. And, there's no...
Well, that could be changing pretty soon.
I think it should be. I think you got to protect the kids, and, Frank from Tony's can't go representing kids. And that's what Jamal's trying to do that. And
you try to be Frank from Tony's?
I'm joking because I'm saying Frank. I'm saying I know Jamal is trying to really represent these kids,
right,
and help them out. Because he called me 45 times yesterday, and I couldn't talk. I have to call him back. but he sent me this. Actually, let me send him to you. He sent me this lineman, and I did not think. I thought there was a kid that he had that I thought was better.
Okay.
But he likes this kid, and he thinks he's a player. My friend who coaches at Worcester Academy would take him right now if he reclassified. But I didn't think that he was anything special. I sent you his film. Well, I watched it, and if you look at it, first of all, I don't know that he's a defensive lineman. I think he's probably more of an offensive lineman. He doesn't have that quick twitch off the ball. I mean, he's good with his hands. They cut a lot of the plays short. But he hustles. I mean, he doesn't look like he runs that great. If you get a chance, just check it out on your phone. I didn't think that he was. I didn't think he was FBS material. I think he may be FCS material.
Okay.
But that's the trouble with recruiting. Especially, let me see if I can get on here. I can get on here. Okay, so it's got the transfers. All right. Let me just see what it says here. Wow, we had that many people transfer. Take a guess how many. Oh, Skylar Bell actually went in the transfer portal and then withdrew. Mel Brown went in and withdrew. Wow, I didn't know that. Guess how many transfers we had overall from the winter until now?
That we had transfers out or
out?
10?
32.
Oh, wow.
That's what I said. Wide receiver, kick returner, Brian Domino went to Indiana State. Danny Shaban, he's a running back. He went to Colgate. Javarius Smith went to Western Michigan. Darrell Robinson, who we talked about, was a good running back. He went to Auburn. This is funny. This kid transferred twice. Punter kicker Nate Wallace Dilling transferred to UTEP and then transferred to UTRGV. I have no University of Tennessee. I don't even know what that stands for. Brock Montgomery, a wide receiver, transferred twice. That's amazing to me. Transferred to Marshall and then transferred to TCU. Like, so you transfer in the winter, you go through spring practice, and then you call it a day and you transfer out. I can't believe that. Defensive back Malcolm Bell transferred to Michigan State, so he transferred up. Defensive back Zachary Spears, he didn't play in 2024 due to injury. He transferred to Idaho. Price Yates, this was the one that was tough. He was a good D lineman. He withdrew from the transfer portal, then re-entered and transferred to the University of North Carolina with Mr. Bill Belichick. DB Isaiah Davis transferred to FAMU, Florida Atlantic. I don't even know what that means. Is that just Florida Atlantic? Yeah, it's got to be Florida
FAU, Florida Atlantic.
Well, it says FAMU. That's why.
FAMU,
Yeah.
Florida A&M.
Oh, Florida A&M. Okay, so HBC. Langston Hardy, D lineman, linebacker, transferred to Wake Forest. Kellen Villanueva transferred to Campbell. Alfred Chia transferred to Ball State. They're all linebackers. D lineman Tim Passmore transferred to UMass. And tight end Nick Harris transferred to Eastern Michigan. The rest are without a home, and that includes Josiah Gavings and Cole Welliver. Even though I know Cole Welliver just entered, but they do not have a home yet, which is shocking. Gavings, I thought, was good. He made plays. I'd like to see his stats. Okay, so inbound. Wow, we took a lot of guys.
Who did?
We initially took. Yeah, we initially took 30 guys. Romello Murphy was a transfer. Colby Albert, we watched him. He's the DB. This kid went to Kentucky, Mississippi State, and then we got him. Ben Smiley, I watched. He's a good defensive lineman. He went to University of Virginia, and then we took him. Taekwon King, who we liked. This kid is amazing. He's from West Haven. He went to Dillon High School.
Okay.
He goes Dillon High School. Oh, Dillon, South Carolina. Okay. So he goes to North Carolina A&T. Then he goes to ECU, Eastern Carolina. Then he goes to Temple. And then he comes to us. Chris Parker, the other receiver, he had a good spring. He went to Central Michigan and then transferred to us. Ty Chan was the Notre Dame offensive lineman. He looked like a beast. We got him. That was a good pickup. Tyrese Mills, Lackawanna Community College, Penn State, and then we took him. Man, it's just crazy to see the number. Okay, this is the other receiver we took. Griffin Koch. He's from New Canaan. He played at IMG Academy. He went to Kansas and then transferred to us. And then we also got a punter on May 4th. His name is Sullins Spencer. He's from Athens, Tennessee, transferred from Memphis. Oh, we actually got more. We got DeAndre Glover from Covington, Georgia. He went to Central Missouri, Gardner Webb, and then us. So that's where we stand right now.
Sounds exciting.
We're bringing guys in. At least they're active. Okay. So this poster, his name is Zero Tastic. He's been a member since 2018. He ranked our opponents by a Sagarin rating and speculated what our record would be had we improved our Sagarin rating to 60. The post seems to be pretty pathetic about what ended up happening. We increased to 66 and we lost to the teams that had scores above us and beat the scores that had below us. So he did it for this season. And he has us currently again at 9-3, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 9-3. So we're beating Buffalo, Rice, Air Force, UAB, Florida Atlantic, Delaware, Florida International, Ball State, Central Connecticut. We're losing to Syracuse, BC, and Duke.
Where's Christie today?
Oh, maybe the change in time screwed them up.
Christie?
Yeah, because we went at noon instead of 11. So.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, you want to hear some
ASMR? Sure. What do you got for me?
No, want to hear some songs?
And then Bo.
That you can judge them.
What are the songs? What are the songs for?
For Rebel Republic, and then
oh yes, Rebel Republic is a monster hit.
Let's see if we have a song. Here's some songs. Tell me which one you like best.
I gotta see if I can get Erica to stay up. I can't really hear it.
Can't hear it?
No.
Oh, hold on.
What are you playing it on?
Hold on. We'll switch it. Hold on.
If you present it on your screen, you can present it.
I'll present it. All right, ready? All right, let's play it.
Boy, you really want to troll the people of Massachusetts? That's a great way to do it.
Heart, let freedom ring. Proud to be American, singing this song. Make America great with every breath we take. Conservative values guiding our faith. In fields where the cotton blooms and the sun sets late, we stand firm with hearts that never wane. Through storms and sunshine, we've held on tight. Patriotic voices making history right. Stand tall with your heart, let freedom ring. Proud to be American, singing this song. Make America great with every breath we take. Conservative values guiding our faith. From coast to coast, we see the land so vast, where dreams are born and heroes are cast. With every vote and every step we take, we honor those who made us what we make. Stand tall with your heart, let freedom ring. Proud to be American, singing this song. Make America great with every breath we take. Conservative values guiding our faith.
Well, you get the gist.
I love it. I
think that one's pretty good. There was another one. I thought that one. This one's. I like. Let me see what this one is. It's too slow.
No, that one's perfect.
Then I made a couple others, but I didn't like them that much. But they're fun to play.
In the heart of the land where the red flag flies high, we stand strong with our roots deep in history.
That one said.
I like the first one because the first one's going to irritate people.
It's so funny because AI so doesn't know stuff that well. So
yeah,
that one it nailed, but I did six. The one that I was just playing, it said where the red flag flies. I'm like, what is this? Communist China? Obviously, it's China that owns the company. So they're saying where the red flag flies, right? So it's obviously that's what they're used to. It must be the AI from China. Yeah, it's so funny. Anyway, yeah, I like the first one. That might be a good theme for us.
Yeah, I like the first one too. That's
Good
what I'm
song.
going to go with.
Actually, sounded like a good song, actually.
That's what I'm going to go with. And Billy's excited because he's in Connecticut right now for his book signing.
Oh,
So,
where's he doing his book signing?
I didn't ask where exactly. I'll text him and I'll ask him. But he's excited for his book signing.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on a couple of outside news that may affect UConn. Okay.
Oh boy.
So Kentucky, University of Kentucky, has formed an LLC that is that will allow them to possibly manage the Kentucky athletic department. So remember we talked about where hedge funds could be getting involved.
Yeah, the private equity firms you mentioned.
Yeah,
they were buying NFL teams. Well, that's kind of what messed up with UConn was the revenue sharing. They were going to revenue share all NIL money, and that's where I think the problem lied.
So I'll read this to you. Okay, and the obviously a lot of it has to do with the case of like the revenue sharing, right? So with college athletics, actually I'll pull it up so people can see it. Actually, let's do that. I like to get your takes on these things. Okay, you ready? I don't know why my screen is moving so slow, but it is. Maybe because that outstanding song I played. All right. Can you see it?
No. Just present it and present the tab.
I am. I couldn't present, but it's going so slow. Okay. I don't know why I'm freezing here a little bit.
That's okay. Right. What's
graphic access your maybe it's because these stupid websites with their freaking
I'll look it up. Hold on. Kentucky sports.
Can you present it better or
no, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up.
Let's make my screen load.
Okay,
slow.
Here it is. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah. No notifications. I don't need. With college athletics bracing for expected approval of $2.8 billion antitrust settlement, the University of Kentucky is believed to be the first school to convert its athletic department to a limited liability holding company.
Do you see it here?
Are you showing it or?
Yeah. Is it not coming up? No.
Oh, you gotta click. I'll add to the stage. There you go.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, but that's just
no, I know. I hit the wrong tab. Hold on.
I'm not holding on for you, man. I'm not holding on.
I'll get the right tab. I clicked the wrong tab.
Brushing.
You have the patience of a 2-year-old.
Corkiana Biggs is giving us the middle finger for what?
It is this one.
All right,
do you see it now?
Let's read it. Good. Can you scroll up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So read that. Okay.
College athletics bracing for the expected approval of $2.8 billion NCAA antitrust settlement. The University of Kentucky is believed to be the first school to convert its athletic department to a limited liability holding company. The creation of Champions Blue LLC, approved last week by the university's Board of Trustees, is seen as a way for Kentucky to become more nimble in finding new revenue, the pending settlement in the House case will clear the way for schools to share up to $20 million annually with their athletes, but name, image, and likeness deals on top of that are seen as a key asset in landing and keeping key recruits. And that takes money, which is what I was saying. The combined NIL money with the television revenue, you're talking about, in some cases, $40 million.
Right.
It's the NFL salary cap when it first started out. The plan calls for a board that will have wide experience in fundraising, and the school noted it hopes to unlock new revenue streams through public-private partnerships and potentially other transactions such as real estate. So this is going to be like a real active LLC intending on generating revenue. So they may buy an apartment complex to make money. They have funding coming in, and that funding is going to be used to probably invest and probably buy real estate, buy businesses, whatever. It provides us flexibility needed to help us stay well positioned during this period of continued evolution in college athletics. We will benefit from a new board of internal and outside experts with sports business experience, including pro sports, that will help guide us in finding revenue streams to support our teams. The so-called House settlement and changing landscape were driving factors in this decision, and UK said its announcement Friday that changes will add millions more each year to the expenses of intercollegiate programs, which is true because scholarships are going up across the board in all sports. An LLC provides some legal protections against losses or risks, and experts said transitioning to one may be a wise choice for major institutions like Kentucky. Being able to make quicker choices in the current landscape could be a key benefit. It may not work across the board, however. Making the shift requires thoughtful consideration, said Jim Booz, that's a great name, a former deputy athletic director of Virginia and now the director of college athletics advisory services at the accounting firm James Moore & Co. It's important for every institution to really think about their strategic alignment and what it is they want to accomplish in this new landscape of college athletics. So that's huge.
That's enormous, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's enormous that they're doing that.
Because so now that group eventually could be operating the whole athletic department.
Yeah, I mean, it's financially for sure. I mean, and you're talking about an LLC, so they can have their hands in as many pots as they want legally. You know, they can buy a Chick-fil-A if they think it's going to bring in revenue to the university.
Right.
They can buy real estate properties that appreciate over time. There's so much more they can do by going to an LLC model that an athletic department is handcuffed with.
It's unbelievable. So if you think about it, Kentucky, if they operate this LLC, they could control all the stadium revenue, control all the revenue that comes into for athletics if they decide that that's what the university wants to do. And you're right, they could buy more land with it.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
They could buy, you're right, like they could own training facilities that train athletes.
Absolutely. They could.
You would know about.
They could have their own Michael Orr.
They could have. Yeah. They could have. You're correct. They could have their own. They could have their own 7-on-7 club. They could have their own organization. Like they're all outside the purview. They're
basically saying that in Kentucky, we're going to build a system that has money that can fund kids that were interested from 9 years old and up, from the ground up. and all they know is Kentucky Blue. We funded them. They're 7-on-7. We got them trainers. We built a weight room for them. It's all through the University of Kentucky. I think that's an ingenious move to do that. Now, the key is, I don't know if you know this, the judge in the landmark case did not sign off on the agreement yet. The $2.8 billion. I don't know if I told you or not.
No.
So there we go with the yawning. I'm putting
No, this is interesting.
What happened was the judge, the NCAA wanted it grandfathered in because teams were already concerned about cutting down to 90. 90 was the scholarship limit, but it was also the roster limit.
I thought it was 105.
No. The limit for game day was 99. But most kids, most teams carried 110 to 120 with walkouts.
Right.
They just didn't dress for games. So the NCAA ruled in this agreement, okay, you get $2.8 billion in television revenue. Now this goes back to kids who played in 2016. So if you played in 2016 until now, you get a piece of this $2.8 billion. Okay? And going forward, the schools can pay kids out of their television revenue.
Got it.
So part of that was also an increase in scholarships. Like, remember, I think we talked about some of the increases in some of the sports that we never heard of that were huge. Like even baseball went to 30 scholarships. They were at 11. Oh, tumbling was the big one. Tumbling went from like 5 to like.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We were laughing about it.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean that every school has to use all the scholarships. We think, from what I read, that the teams that make money in certain sports will use the scholarship limit in those sports.
Right.
In the non-revenue sports, they may not use all the scholarships because there's no law that says they have to use the scholarships.
Correct.
Football. So the NCAA wanted it grandfathered in that the kids already on the roster can keep their spots, put the 90 roster limit in place in 2 years. So the kids who are already on the squad don't have to leave. Well, already in preparation for this, kids have entered the transfer portal and teams have started cutting kids to get down to 90.
Right, I saw that.
So it's a conundrum because if she goes back and signs the deal that grandfathers it in, well, most of the kids are gone already. So you're either going in light or you're pulling kids, when they come in for orientation to play on the football team, because football legitimately is the sport where you need those bodies because you're dressing 44 on offense, starters and backups, 44 on defense, starters and backups, and then the rest you need for scout guys. So just do the math right there. 44 plus 44 is what, 88?
Yeah.
So you got 88 kids, 85 scholarships right now, and the rest are scout team guys that you need that are critical to give you a look during practice. So that's why it was a big issue, because I remember when we were transitioning to 1A in the year 2000, our first year at 1A, we didn't have the full 85 scholarships. I think we had 70. So 90 or 99, we actually serviced each other. The twos serviced the ones because we didn't have enough for a scout team. Right. 2000 was the first time that we broke off on our own and we had separate scout teams. So offense go down here, defense go down here, and you take your scouts. But the scouts legitimately were 11 to 15 guys, and they rotated where they could, but they got the hell beat out of them. And then, once we increased, there weren't enough reps to go around. Guys wanted to get in on scout, because they couldn't get reps anywhere else. Guys, once we got to 85 in 2001, scout guys didn't do Indy with us. Scout guys came and serviced us for Indy. So we had the scout D line service our offensive line for individual drills. So we didn't have to service each other.
Right.
So you go down to 90, that screws a lot of things up. That means your twos have to service your ones when you're doing scout stuff. It changes up entirely how you have to practice.
Right. That's a huge change.
Huge, monumental, because now you can't break off, when it's team O, team D, go your separate ways. You got to do it together. Right. Offense up first, instead of running 15 plays, you may have to cut down to 10 or 12,
right.
For timing purposes. You got to go fast because you got to get your offense in, you got to get your defense in. Tuesdays are typically move the field, 1st and 10, maybe some short yardage goal line, but that's it for your team stuff on Tuesday. Wednesdays, usually 3rd down, red zone. And then, Thursday's your cleanup day. So it's going to be interesting to see how they end up formatting it.
Right. Interesting.
Because I don't know. Someone's giving you the middle finger. Oh, crushing. Okay.
Yeah, we already saw that. Yeah, we already got. Yeah.
Corsina Biggs. She gave us a lot of middle fingers.
Nice. Thanks, Corsina.
But was
it our country music that solicited?
I don't know. It was 12:43. It could have been. So I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know how the judge is going to handle it. But see, the problem still comes down to the $20 million threshold. Okay, Kentucky has that with their TV revenue. So they'll have no problem getting to 20 million. The Big Ten won't have any problem getting to 20 million.
Right.
The ACC and the Big 12 are not going to get 20 million.
Right.
They may get 10. They may get 15. They're not getting 20. So they're going to have to raise extra money on the NIL front. And it's like Burton said. Burton said that this is every year. I got involved in this, and then I realized I got to do this every year. I got to scramble every year to get donors. I got to scramble every year to bring in money.
That's a full-time gig.
Yeah, and he's not like he's getting paid for it. I mean, he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart, and he's doing it because that's how his father taught him. Whenever the bell comes calling, I mean, he answers it, and that's why I give him so much credit, because.
So you're going to talk about, is there any shakeup going on?
I don't know that there's shakeup going on. I just know that they announced the revenue sharing, which essentially eliminated kind of Bleeding Blue, because Bleeding Blue Bleeding Blue had other sports, but it was primarily to raise money for football. I know Store Central is, for everyone, but Store Central, the biggest complaint I got when I was in Nashville, Dave, when we went to the bachelor party, is Store Central isn't user-friendly. They don't give you any information you don't already know. All you have to do is go on Twitter and you'll find it. And if they added content like our shows and the things that we do, that would give people pause to give, $12 a month. for the content that they give you now, you're basically paying to go on a message board. You can go on the Boneyard. But I mean, I know Darby's a member. Darby, there's no one that bleeds blue like Steve Darby. And, you know, he just wants it to get together, get organized, he just gets frustrated because he doesn't see it as being user friendly. Store Central.
Right.
And then you got the thing with the UConn Foundation. The UConn Foundation is making a push to raise money. And, you know, I know athletics is part of that. But, I mean, they mentioned the nursing program. They mentioned a bunch of other programs that they want to try to become elite in. And my opinion is you can put money into the nursing program, but that's not money that you're going to see a return on.
Right.
If you put money into athletics, you will see a return on it, either from players making it big and donating, or getting a bigger television contract, or getting into a conference. That's where you're going to see a return. Investing in the nursing program, sure, you may get better nurses, but they're not going to donate the money that, you know, having a good football program is going to bring to the university.
Right. And
that was my 2 cents. I think that they have to. That there has to be that they have to stop having so many entities to donate to. With Store Central, with, you know, the UConn Foundation, with the business school, with this and that. I mean, my good pal and sponsor Sean Rabinowitz, I mean, he gets frustrated. I mean, he donates to the UConn Foundation. He donates to the School of Business, and he was donating to Bleeding Blue. I mean, that's 3 places you got to donate to. So that's why I think they have to streamline it. There has to be a clear-cut separation between donating to the UConn Foundation, donating to academics. I wouldn't even put sports as part of the UConn Foundation. And I know that's where they want the money to go. I know that UConn wants the money to go to the foundation because that gives them control.
Interesting. So I think that's part of the problem, right?
It's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. I mean, and that's what, you know, Phil was talking about with the silos. You know, he's trying to navigate through different silos of what different people want. And it's just not as smooth as it's just not as smooth as people think, you know?
Well, so do you think that it's
I think what Kentucky did is ingenious.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky did it is ingenious. I think it gives them, because when you're an athletic department, it handcuffs what you can do revenue-wise to generate revenue. Your sources of revenue are television contracts, donations, conference money. That's it.
Right.
When you have an LLC, now you can do a lot more things. You can, you know, you're going to have donors, and you're going to have a way to put together a business model,
right,
to generate revenue. Like I said, you know, they can buy businesses, they can buy real estate, they can do whatever they want that's going to bring in consistent revenue streams. And that's what they need year to year. So it's not like Mike having to go out every year and ask Joe Blow for a donation. You know, we need a quarterback this year. Can you give us this? And because you know that we're getting some television revenue from the Big East for basketball, but you saw even winning the Big East tournament, $650,000.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's what they get for the Big East tournament. For the NCAA championship. I'm sorry. They win the NCAA championship. They do the breakdowns of money per conference, and it is $650,000 for the Big East, which means obviously winning the national championship was probably $250,000.
Which is also completely bonkers.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what maneuvers they make. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage this. You know, they got revenue sharing. They got the UConn Foundation making a big push. Store Central definitely needs an upgrade. And I just don't know how to do it.
Well, I think that there's some. I think the University of Kentucky is starting something that will happen throughout college football, and
It has to. I agree.
We talked about a little bit like that. You're going to have to generate a income stream to fund
Consistent.
Yes, that goes beyond, because I heard Iowa State, or talk about the Iowa State. $20 million, the $20 million for the revenue share, they don't have that $20 million. So they said that they're going to have to dip into the endowment funds.
Exactly.
Or down the line, they're going to have to charge an activity fee to all the students to basically pay for it. Now,
exactly.
If you have 30,000 students like Iowa State does, you charge $100. That's $100
sure
a year. That's $30 million, right? Am I right?
Sure, you're right on that. But the Iowa State's in the Big 12.
$100 is a little 30,000 students. $10 would be
$300,000, right?
That would be $3 million. So you have to charge $1,000 a year.
Yeah,
$1,000 a year to get to $30 million. So the issue becomes, you know, some universities.
Well, that's why tuition's already high as it is.
It's smaller, right? So it's already high. So another 1,000. Smaller schools, like let's say you only have 5,000 or 10,000. Let's say you have 10,000 at your university.
Well, University of Miami doesn't have that many kids.
Yeah, let's say they have 10,000 total. That means they would be charging $3,000 extra.
The ACC is the lowest out of the television revenue. They're not coming close to 20 million. They may get 10.
And that's where this LLC comes in. Basically, they're
brilliant.
They operate the business. It would be like an NFL team.
Did it
say sports, but covering all sports, I guess, right?
Did it say that an outside entity is running it? That's what I didn't.
That's what I wasn't sure of.
That's what I didn't.
They did say, they said they have experts in like operating businesses, and so it's probably like a. I mean, could you think about this for a second? I'll just use this. This Champions Blue or whatever it is, LLC operates. They decide that they become, I don't know, they're going to become $1 billion entity, and now they go into stock exchange. Could you imagine that?
That's what I figured they'd go into. I figured they would invest in the stock market.
University of Kentucky, basically their athletic department is on the stock exchange.
That's why that is 100% what I believe.
Those university athletic departments, if they go on a stock exchange, could end up being worth more than some NFL teams.
Yeah. If they play their cards right. Yeah.
They have multiple sports. They have basketball, football. They have all the.
Yep. the plan calls for a board. Okay, so it's not necessarily the university. It's going to be a board that will have wide experience in fundraising, and the school noted it hopes to unlock new revenue streams through public, private partnerships, and potentially other transactions such as real estate. So they're going to hire an outside board to come in and basically strategize how do we best use this money to generate revenue. And the first thing that comes to mind is going to be real estate. Real estate right now, it's a seller's market. Anything bought is going to appreciate in value, I believe.
Right.
They may open a business.
Right.
It said also that they are going to, I thought I read that they're going to take advantage. Okay. Clear up the way. Oh, no. Okay. No. So the NIL deals are going to be separate. So that's where it's going to get interesting, because you're going to have NIL deals on one side and you're going to have this on the other.
Right.
And how it's all going to function is going to be kind of crazy, because that's a lot of dough coming in. And that's Kentucky. Imagine the big dogs. Imagine Alabama, Clemson, Michigan. I mean, Michigan's smart. But I think it's the first step, unless somebody steps in and privatizes this, it's just going to be a mess.
Wild.
Okay. Beautiful.
What are you looking at?
Billy just said he's going to use a computer. So if you could send me the link before 4 p.m., he said. He just wants to be sure.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, I mean that makes it more urgent for UConn to get into a conference. They got to get into the conference. They got to get that revenue, and they have to come up with more creative ways, because right now the only way that revenue is being generated is through, obviously, ticket sales, television, donations. And believe me, they're doing more than less, and I'm not smearing them. They're doing more with less. We gotta continue. We can't stay the same, because nobody else is.
It's an all-day battle.
Yeah. So
for another great Husky episode.
Yeah. So 8:30, you're good? All right. Just try to send me the link by 4 so I can get it to the liquor man.
Do we try to push people to form an LLC?
I'm going to talk to Mike about it. I'll bring it up. So for the man himself, Coach Schumann, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the known universe. Oh, Christy, we missed you. We missed you like a toothache.
And universe is unknown.
Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.